South Africa, the Rainbow Nation, a country forged in the fires of injustice, now grappling with the ghosts of its past. We all know the story of apartheid, a system designed to oppress and segregate. Decades later, the wounds still run deep. But what happens when the narrative flips? When the descendants of oppressors claim to be the oppressed? Enter the Afrikaners, white South Africans seeking asylum in the United States. They claim they are victims facing persecution and stripped of their rights. They point to land reform policies, economic hardship and violence as reasons to flee. But is this the whole story, or are we witnessing a dangerous manipulation of history? The reality in South Africa is complex. Yes, there is crime. Yes, there are racial tensions. But to understand the current situation, we must delve into the legacy of apartheid, a system that systematically disadvantaged black South Africans for generations. For decades, apartheid reigned supreme. Black South Africans were denied basic rights, relegated to second-class citizenship. They were stripped of their land, their opportunities, their dignity. Meanwhile, white South Africans, including Afrikaners, benefited from this brutal system. Fast forward to 2025, Donald Trump, a man who needs no introduction in the chaos department, throws a lifeline to these Afrikaners. He signs an executive order halting refugee admissions for almost everyone except them. His reasoning? Afrikaners are facing racial discrimination and land expropriation. Let's be clear, land reform is a thorny issue, but it's not about punishing white South Africans. It's about addressing historical injustices. It's about righting the wrongs of the past. And yet Trump, a man who built his empire on inherited wealth, claims to champion the cause of the downtrodden Afrikaner farmer. The great debate. Here's where things get interesting. While Afrikaners claim persecution, the numbers tell a different story. White South Africans, despite being a minority, still hold a disproportionate amount of wealth and power. They control the economy, they own the majority of the land. So, are they really victims? Or are they a privileged group feeling the squeeze as South Africa tries to level the playing field? The answer, like most things in life, is complicated. Critics, including human rights groups and academics, are skeptical. They see this mass exodus not as a humanitarian crisis, but as an attempt by a privileged group to maintain their grip on power. They point out that violence affects all South Africans, not just white farmers. The world is watching, bewildered by this strange turn of events. How can a country built on the exclusion of the black people offer refuge to those who benefited from that very system? It's a question that cuts to the heart of South Africa's identity, its struggle for reconciliation. Trump's actions, fueled by a potent mix of nationalism and opportunism, have only inflamed tensions. He's thrown a wrench into the delicate machinery of South African politics, emboldening those who seek to divide rather than unite. The legacy of apartheid casts a long shadow, and while some Afrikaners may genuinely feel threatened, their fears must be weighed against the historical context. The world needs to see this situation for what it is, a complex web of privilege, prejudice, and political maneuvering. The fight for a just and equitable South Africa continues.